Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. Introducing your host from New York, here is Sam Roberts.
Well, it's Thursday, and you know what that means.
I mean, I do. Do you?
Luke Harper.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Well, here's the thing. So, you're a movie actor now, and I'm watching this movie Mohawk, right? And the most curious thing, I watched the whole thing, but really just so I could get to those credits and go like, what is he billed as? That's how I know if he really gets to be a movie actor or if he's a wrestler in a movie. And my friend, you are a real-life movie actor.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Because the thing was, if I was Luke Harper, the whole movie would be ruined because my first name is dead. So they'd have to reshoot it and re-tag me as Harper. So it's much better that it's Jonathan Huber.
Right. It just makes more sense.
Yeah.
How do you end up in this movie? The movie's called Mohawk, and it takes place in like the 1800s, right?
Yes.
And it's the Americans, and they're in a forest, and they're hunting down the Mohawk tribe. But the Mohawk tribe are a wily tribe. They are a lot of suspense.
They are. So I was contacted by Talent Relations by my friend Ted Gagan, who is the director of the film and sitting next to me, and who does much better job at explaining how he got me.
Yeah. So are you a movie director, and you're like, yeah, Harper would be great for this.
Well, you know, I
got a coat that'll fit him. So.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like we got all this huge wardrobe. I grew up as a fan of pro wrestling, and on this film, when we'd written it, there's one of the adversaries in the movie is this big hulking soldier named Lachlan, and when we were writing it, you know, we didn't really have anybody in mind, but as we started casting, we were like, oh, you know, it'd be really cool if we found a WWE superstar who's available for this role, and so we reached out and we got the list, and as soon as I saw Harper's name on it, I was like, well, that's going to work out perfectly. And we had a Skype conversation / interview / audition. And right after that, I mean, it was pretty go.
Because I was hurt at the time, so it actually worked out.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is the knee brace in the movie your legit knee?
So that is the knee that was injured. I had a legit brace on underneath the entire time, but the brace that Lachlan wears was written into the script before they even had me in mind, so it just kind of was happenstance.
Right. So were you like, I could just wear my?
Well, I told him that, and he's like, "Well, we got this other one." I was like, "Oh yeah, cool."
So now you're wearing two knee braces.
Well, we need you to limp a little bit, but not. I was like, "Yeah, no problem."
You were like, well, I can just wear my knee brace on set, and I was like, I don't know if a sports brace from 2016
I'm not sure
is going to fit
timely
into a movie set in 1814.
You think it's going to pull people out? Like, yeah. Plus, they all know that like you're an injured wrestler, and they're like, "Oh yeah,
wait a minute."
So did you know you were on that list of potential movie filming superstars? Because I feel like Luke Harper. When I get the thing, hey, Luke Harper from WWE is going to be around. Would you want to interview him? I was like, yeah, of course. And he's like, he's promoting a movie, and I'm like, oh, I'm surprised Harper's even doing like interviews, let alone.
So when they did reach out to me, I assumed right away that they had got the wrong guy, that they were looking for Braun Strowman or Bray Wyatt or somebody, you know. And then he assured me that no, he wanted me. And so, yeah, it's weird to me, too. I don't know.
That's awesome, though. And when you're at home injured, does it, like, give you some – is it better for your brain to have something like this to do?
So, maybe my wife should answer that one.
Well, she just said, as soon as I said, when you're at home injured, is it better? She's going, no!
So I was there for 7 months. So yeah, it had to be a blessing in disguise to get me out of the house, give me a creative outlet, because I was playing video games and watching UFC and WWE, and that's pretty much it in my basement.
That's great too. That you're like, I finally get to enjoy my house.
Yeah.
You're in the basement the entire time.
My son, I locked him out of the basement. It's all kind of,
Was that like how do you cope? Because I talked to Big Cass not too long ago, and he's right in the thick of it, man. And it was pretty clear that like he was just not.
It's brutal because you're watching your world go on, and you can't get in that world, and you also know that that's how you make your living, and so it's a bit of a mental hurdle to jump over. But once you kind of realize, like, oh, I have this house, I have this family, that you didn't really understand the gravity of the situations because you've been on the road so much,
right?
That now you can understand what you have at home, and it makes so those 6 months kind of made me who I am today, and I think make me way better for being out.
And it kind of reminds you what you're doing it all for, right? Like, because I think,
100%.
yeah, I had a conversation with you. I think it was last time WrestleMania was in New Orleans.
Oh yeah, the first one. Yeah.
Right, and we were just talking, and you were talking about how the biggest difference in indie wrestling and WWE is like I can buy a house, I can provide for my family.
I did it.
Yeah, I'm doing it, but
Yeah.
but I guess you don't really get to sit in it until something catastrophic
Exactly,
happens,
because
right?
you're moving so much that I'm gone 5 days a week, and then those 2 days are gone, and then another 5 days, and it just winds and winds and winds. And like you said, that was 4 or 5 years ago that we talked. It feels like yesterday.
Right.
So to be out for those 6 months and to understand,
And is that when time starts like actually moving at the pace of time when you're at home?
Yep. And then you're like, oh man, this is gonna be forever. But then you're like, oh man, this is really cool.
then we
And
drag you to a movie
then they
set.
make me work.
But I also love because typically on movie sets it's like everybody is like, oh, just hurry up and wait, and there's so much. But like every minute of it for you has got to be like, this is great. I'm out of the house.
I said so. The first time I get on set, it's sit in the trailer for 7 hours, and then, all right, let's go. And then run out the set. Okay, we're gonna need to rehearse the scene where you're crying over a dead body. I was like, what? And then go. And then, okay, now we're gonna shoot it. Okay. So
yeah, it's like sit by yourself in the trailer, and then it's like, okay, we need you to be at emotional intensity,
right?
And it's like, and as soon as we got it, we're like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, and I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
And so I remember saying to him at the end of the movie, I said, boy, I really wish we could do that first scene over again, because I feel like I'm way better now than knowing nothing then.
Right.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that's with any actor, not even first-time actors. I think any actor who's on a film, you could make 100 movies, and that first day is so different from the last day, because on the last day of the movie, you totally get the character, you get all the people around you, like
everything comes together.
Yeah. And so on that first day, you're just kind of like, okay, I think this is who this character is going to become over the next 3 weeks.
Right.
I hope.
And
Yeah.
by the end of filming, are you like shaking out your arms, shaking out your legs, like moving your neck and being like, wait a minute,
I think
I'm going home and I'm not.
I honestly was shaking out my brain because it was such a mental, I don't want to say struggle, because it wasn't a struggle, but it was taxing.
Right.
And there's so many emotions of everything, like questioning myself and this and that, and like, so it was mentally hard, physically only other than running up a hill, Ted. It was okay. But mentally, man, I don't know how people act for a living.
Yeah, you
Really?
Yeah, you were sad on that last day.
Yeah, I was.
You were, man.
It was very hard.
Wow. So you left with a new appreciation for that.
100%. I discovered their industry from the ground up, and it was fascinating.
Because it's funny, because you kind of came in
right
to acting the way like a Hollywood guy comes into wrestling, and they're like, he hasn't paid his dues.
Yeah,
what do you
like,
mean?
Yeah,
you're not even auditioning.
Thinking
You're
of
just
the
like
same thing. I'm just
Skyping.
like, man, I'm just kind of walking. These guys are probably hot at me, and like, I don't know. I think some of the people on the movie, I won't name any names, might have been a little angry that I got some billings that I maybe shouldn't have. But hey, we're just trying to sell movies.
Why is he doing the promo part?
Sorry.
Did you at any point like was the whole visual good for you in your movie? Because the Luke Harper visual is the giant beard and the scraggly hair and everything, and all, like, it's on a couple levels, right? Like, would the character look like this? And what am I gonna do? Because that guy looks like Luke Harper in like a red coat. So what am I gonna do to make sure that this audience doesn't associate?
It's funny because throughout the process, when I first saw the list of WWE talent, and I was like, oh, Harper would be awesome. This is great. And I was like, he's got that big beard, and it's like totally looks like a Civil War soldier.
Right.
And we had hired a historic consultant on the film. There's a historic producer on the movie who it was his job to make sure everything was just completely accurate. And when we were showing him the cast, he saw the picture. He saw the picture of Harper, and he was like, so just so you know that like, we all think of the 1800s as like very beardy. Like you think of like the Civil War. Everybody in the Civil War had a beard.
Because what are they shaving? Like what do they got?
Yeah. But the thing was, just like now, it's kind of like you remember in the 80s, like mustaches were real popular, and it's like in the 90s, nobody had facial hair, and now beards are in.
Right.
The thing was, during the War of 1812, nobody had beards.
Oh no.
So it was like no, beards became popular in like the 1830s, and I was like, well, one of our guys has a beard, and he was like, but it's my job to be historically accurate, and I was like, well, you want to go up to that guy and tell him to shave his beard?
I mean, he can, I would say. please, man, I make a living only because I have this.
I need this
Yes.
beard. But it's also like you always see, like, it's 2018. Nobody has mullets anymore, but you always see some guy with a mullet.
Some guy's
right?
rocking one.
So
Yeah,
some guy had a
exactly.
beard.
A smart guy's rocking a mullet.
So yeah, no, we took that to heart, and we said, okay, so it's this group of militiamen, trapped in the woods. They've been out there for a very long time, and this guy is
You just grew a little faster.
Yeah, it's overnight. It's the meanest 5 o'clock shadow in the world.
Do you, as a guy, are you desperate for the time when you? Was there any point like
For
when
the
you're
attention, yes. Time, no.
when you were at home and you're like, I'm going to be at home for whatever it is, 7-8 months. Like, are you thinking to yourself, I should shave this beard because I can grow back?
Never even crossed my mind.
You love that thing.
It's literally a part of me, and it got to the point where my wife doesn't say, "Hey, shave that," or "I don't like that." It's so far gone that she likes it now, so I win.
And if you shaved it, it'd probably be like, who is this man? This is not the man that I married.
Both my sons would not recognize me.
It's so funny because, like, I remember when you were, before you got to WWE, I remember you in the Hillbilly Wrecking Crew in Jersey All Pro.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, in my mind's eye, it's like, yeah, he had that scraggly beard and everything. But you look back at photos and, like, the DVDs and stuff then, and you're like, that didn't even look like the same dude anymore.
So that's the thing. Like, when I grow a beard, I've never touched it. I've never cut it. I've never done anything except maybe for this movie. They cut a couple of hairs off, and I freaked out.
It was we'd shot for like a week, and we had this amazing makeup girl, Gabby, and I remember she came up and she was like, you've got like one stray,
because it would like
and I was like,
stick out. And
yeah, it was like this one that came straight out, and he was like, do whatever you can to not cut it.
So I think I allowed 2 to be cut.
Yeah,
but honestly,
is it an OCD thing? Is it just like?
I think it's just an insane thing.
Right.
So maybe yes.
Right.
Yeah. If you just get near it, it's a little iffy now. Yeah. I don't know.
You don't like it being mussed with.
No.
Well, the idea
It's
too
like
of
Samson and his power.
that's it.
Yeah.
coming in and just saying like, we're just going to take a little bit off here, and suddenly half a mustache is missing. Yeah,
That's the thing. Once you get started with trimmers or scissors, oh, well, this is a little off.
now I got to
now
even
this
this
is a little
out.
off.
Yeah.
I used to do that. I used to try. Like, let me just cut a little bit here. Oh, okay. Well, now I got to shave my face and start over.
Yeah. Well,
Because I messed up.
I guess we're doing the Fu Manchu then.
Exactly. Which I lived with.
And you do. You live with your lessons, right? Every time you look in the mirror and go like, that's why we don't screw with things.
So now this is like getting fat. You just do it.
Right.
You don't have to think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
My beard's fat.
So the other thing that and I was just thinking about this like literally for the first time today. I was like, well, Luke Harper and Brody Lee looks the same aesthetically, right?
Uh-huh.
So like you always got to wrestle in a tank top and jeans.
That's right.
And this Bludgeon Brothers run is the first time, right, that you've ever worn tights.
Man, let me tell you. This is the first time I couldn't walk up to Walmart
Right.
and just say, "Hey, I need my gear."
Yeah, like
I'm very sad.
You actually you have to get gear now from a gear guy.
Also, I had to get in better shape because the gear's a little tighter.
Right. Yeah.
So there's several things.
Yeah. There's only so much a spandex shirt can cover.
I
right?
had to tie my hair to hide my bald spot. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. But I actually love it. I love the look.
Can the Bludgeon Brother not have a bald spot?
I mean, they can. But I like to not have one.
I see. Right. And if you're wearing the Walmart's finest,
right?
But that's not the first thing you're noticing.
It's okay.
Yeah. Right. But a guy
in the nice
like,
gear, no, it doesn't fit.
No, a guy who's like got professional real gear.
Yeah. You can't have a bald spot.
Carrying around
That's insane.
A mallet. Yeah. It can't happen.
Carrying around a giant mallet. That's insane.
we embrace the spot in the film too.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
that was
know.
I several times asked them if they. Well, I have a couple. So I asked them like, "Hey, can you just cover that up?" And they're like, "Well, we think it's good for the cat." I was like, "All right, cool." So whatever. So it gets a little shine in the movie. But then I did this show Damnation, and there's a scene that they fly in from behind me, and I swear to God, they did it just to show the entirety of my bald spot.
You're like, God, what are we doing?
Like they rented a crane just to
They're
show.
like, just stand up here. And then I was like, oh, cool, what a shot.
Yeah.
And then I watched it. I was like, man, what a dirty move.
It's a TV show. We can pick any. It's
Yeah,
like a
exactly.
full high budget TV. We can pick
So
any angle we
start
want.
here. We're flying. Good.
Right.
We're done.
And see, since
Plus, I'm going to look bigger from below
100%.
anyway. What are we going from above?
So I'm very upset.
Harper
Yeah,
was
I
6
would be
feet
too.
taller than everyone else on the set of Mohawk, so we never really had to worry about being too high on you. I feel like
True,
so,
true.
Right.
Yeah,
Because everybody looked like ants. Like
exactly.
under him. Like,
Yeah.
what is this?
I'm sorry, I'm a freak.
Don't look at me. What were you? What was it like? So you're back from your injury, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're back wrestling, but you're not on TV.
Right.
Do you know that okay, that we're just building towards something? Something's going to happen, or are you just like
I know nothing.
Right.
Honestly. So that becomes the mental struggle on its own.
right?
And,
What's worse? What's worse, being at home with this injury or being the Dark Match King?
Man, that's a really good question. I don't know. So being the Dark Match King gave me gratification every Tuesday of, oh, okay, I still can do this and I'm still good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Being at home, I probably questioned that a little bit more. So I'll take the Dark Match King.
Right.
And I also was getting paid. So, but not being on TV, that's the goal of your entire career.
Sure.
And to not be featured and to not even have an outlet to get there
Right.
was the struggle for me for the longest time. And then to get that outlet and to kill it and then to go back to where I was again and to have to go through it again, that's where the real struggle comes in because I know I belong there and not being there was
So it's worse. It's worse not knowing if you still got it,
right. So
than knowing you still got it and just it's out of your control.
to me, yeah, knowing because I know I'm good and I know I belong here. It's just they're not putting me there.
Right. There's
So
nothing-
whereas being at home, I didn't have the choice to even give them that option.
Right. So, and when you're not being used, do you like end up looking at the stuff like that Bray's doing and being like, are they hinting at a Wyatt reunion? Is there something going? Would I fit
So
there?
at that time, I didn't want a Wyatt reunion. I wanted just to do my own thing, and I thought I had it. And
That's black tank top, Luke Harper,
yeah, exactly.
right? Yeah.
Black tank top, bald spot hidden. So I thought I didn't want any part of that. I wanted just to be my own thing and
Right.
to surpass him. And so they didn't have that in the plans. And I thought I got to a certain level that they noticed and bought me another turn, so to say, with the Bludgeon Brothers.
Right. And when you hear about this like Bludgeon Brothers concept, because it's one of those concepts, and literally the minute it debuted, I was like, this is either going to go really
Right.
bad or really, really poorly.
Right.
You know, I think a lot of people thought the Ascension was going to be like the next great tag team.
So you see it on paper, and you're like, okay, well, I look great in that picture. But then we put the gear on and go show Vince, and he says, "Oh, good." And then he says, "I'll see you later when we do the vignette." And I said, "Oh." So he came personally
To be a part of the vignette.
Yes. So
That's amazing.
that was awesome. And then so he was hands-on from the get-go, and that was so from going not being featured to have Vince McMahon hands-on with your vignettes was kind of like 180
Right.
So it was
yeah.
there's lots of peaks and valleys.
And I think it also like it's also about how seriously you take the character. Like you could easily, if you weren't 100% there, then I wouldn't believe it. But
Right.
like when I see you and Rowan come out,
And something about I don't know what it is. So there was a time a couple weeks ago we had a match with two locals, and I got really fired up, and we were on the outside, and I took the table apart and I threw it. And I completely forgot that my man Rowan had another spot to do. He was going to squish these people, but I threw it literally in his path. And man, we get to the back, and I watched it back, and I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. And he goes, no. He goes, that was awesome. And right then I knew. I go, you know what? Maybe we're supposed to be together. So, because like anybody else could have got pissed that I stepped on his toes, and
sure.
but he just waited his turn, and it made it better.
Right.
And he understood that, and I understood that, and so right there I was like, you know what, this is gonna work.
When you have a moment like you had with the dude from Chikara who was who did the scream,
Scream, yep.
Yeah, when you threw him up, like is it difficult for you to keep a straight face? Is it like,
Well,
hey,
so-
bro, this is mine? What are you putting
we-
the attention on yourself for?
We get to the back,
Yeah.
and somebody goes, hey man, how about that scream? And Rowan turns to me and he goes, why'd you do that? And I said, I don't know what anybody's talking about because I didn't hear it. So he heard it. I didn't hear it.
It's like right next to your head.
He thought it was me.
Yeah.
And I'm confused. So then I watched it back and I was like, oh, that scream. So I said, Rowan, that wasn't me. He goes, oh, okay. He thought it was me. I said, man, I don't even think I could get that pitch.
Yeah. Although it would be great if that's what you guys did. You never talked, but you just went, Mom! Whenever you did moves. You just did high-pitched
Don't say
screams.
that too loudly, please, Sam.
What's that?
Yeah. Oh, no.
That's a great idea.
No, it's not.
So you have to be optimistic about where the Bludgeon Brothers are right now, especially based on
Absolutely.
what's been happening on SmackDown. Like,
Yep. So looking at it, I was kind of in the same position last year at the same exact time and didn't get what I wanted, and that was that WrestleMania spot. So again, me and Rowan have placed ourselves in position to make an impact of some sort at WrestleMania. So that's, again, the goal.
yeah. Do you guys want to become good guys so you can sell mallets?
Well,
it seems like a good idea to me.
the thing about it is I don't really see good guys and bad guys. I just see two guys with giant mallets.
So you can sell mallets right now.
Of course.
Yeah. No problem. Have you seen any of the Bludgeon Brothers work?
Oh yeah. Well, after having shot the film, I took John aside and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to start watching wrestling again. And he was like, that's on you, man.
I said, that's a task. Go ahead.
Yeah, so
There's a lot of it.
No, it's around my house, just given the propensity for Mohawk to be on and me working on it and those sort of things. It's very weird seeing Jonathan Huber in the movie and Harper on TV because it's completely different.
Right.
Like it's a complete 180 in every capacity.
See, everyone says that to me, and I want my wife to come over here for a second because
great.
there was a time. Do you remember when I couldn't find my keys? So I was going to the airport and I couldn't find my keys, and she told me this is the scariest she's ever seen me.
All of a sudden, the house just went. Dun, dun,
Do you
dun,
think there's
dun, dun,
honey?
dun.
Is there a difference between Jonathan Huber and Harper?
Not in that story.
Thank you. So I don't. I think it's there. It's just. I don't know. I bury it a little bit.
Yeah.
There's no red lights on.
I think I've known you to be I've known you to be a very affable guy.
Right.
But I've never seen you lose your keys either.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I had to make a flight.
My wife has a 13-year-old cousin who's obsessed with WWE right now, and he's aware of the fact that I made the movie with Harper, and he's always asking. He's like, must have been really hard to direct him because he was probably always like yelling at you and threatening you, and like must have made made the other actors do what he wanted.
You better say it was. You better agree with him.
Man,
Hey,
he's tough.
favorite
He's
brother.
tough.
Yeah,
He's tough.
I was like, that's exactly what he was like.
Yeah.
He just took control of everything.
Yeah.
Right. He wouldn't talk. He just threatened to hit people.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's Ted. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I'll do it again.
We had because of John's knee injury. We were always very careful
Oh, my
when
God.
in the woods. Obviously, it's like safety is such a huge concern, especially when you're out in the middle of nowhere.
And they would ask me every time, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I said, "Yep." So
And then there was one day where there was a scene where the characters rush up this hill, and I think we shot it twice.
we did it twice, and then from the bottom of the hill, they just hear, "Okay, reset one more time," and I go, "No." No. And literally I look at my other actors because I think I'm messing up. I don't know. And they're all just staring at me. And I go, "I'm not doing it again." And so Ted goes, "Okay." And then next day's over.
I go, "Day's over."
And I go, "Oh my God. Did I just end the day?" So meanwhile, the actors are like, "Hey man, thanks."
Right.
Because they're all pumped. They're done.
But
they don't have to run up a hill.
You're worried you're making diva
Yes.
demands. Like,
yeah, well, John rushes back down to me. And he's like, "Oh man, I didn't think that meant that we were going to be all done. I'm really sorry. My knees hurts."
Meanwhile, my knee just really hurt, and I didn't want to run up a hill again.
He was like, "My knee just hurts, and I don't want you to think that." And I was like, I'm in the moment, and all I'm thinking about is like getting everything in. And I was just like, "It's fine. I'm like, I'm sure the previous take was fine." And I walked away, and later he was like, "I thought I really pissed you off because you just said
I guess the previous take. Yeah, okay.
you
Hope
just
it's
said
good.
It's fine, and you just walked away."
And here's the thing: I don't know if us running is in the movie.
A little bit of it.
I think when we get to the top.
Yeah.
I don't think.
right.
Okay.
There's like dust blowing and stuff. It's like quick cuts, and we could have done that without running twice up a hill, I think.
No offense. No.
no.
Not like that trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you see? You've watched the movie?
I've watched it 3 times now.
Is it difficult for you to watch yourself in a movie, or do you enjoy it?
We screened it at Fantasia, and I told Ted he wanted me to come up and watch it in the theater. I said, "Yeah, no problem." I said, "But I need to see it before we get there because I can't be sitting there and just be. I'm not ready for to be next to people.
Gotcha.
And so we got he sent it to me, and I watched it with my wife, watched it in the theater, and then I was like, man, just seeing it made it all. I was like, man, this is great. It's like it's not difficult to watch, and it's amazing to see it come to fruition from what we were doing out in the woods.
Yeah.
On a limited budget, not small budget. And it's just amazing to see the product that came out of that, and I'm super proud of it.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. I was fully expecting when I turned it on last night to watch 10 minutes, get the gist, and be like, hey, saw your movie, guys. But I actually watched the movie, which is...
Well, without spoilers, I'm certainly glad you made it to the end, because it certainly rises in intensity as the film goes on.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And plus, I also, like, part of me was like, this isn't... Part of me was like, I'll just watch until... Part of me was like...
Luke Harper will die soon.
That's what I was trying to say. Without...
So, when I got the call,
right,
instantly thought, hey, they need a big guy to kill a couple people and then be murdered quickly. Like, probably the first... And I said, oh, whatever, this is going to be awesome. And then flipping the script sheet, and I'm getting to, like, page 80, and I'm like, man, I'm still alive. So it wasn't cookie cutter for what a guy like me would do.
Right.
And it wasn't just an evil person. I'm a guy with a moral compass who kind of sees what is happening. And
yeah, that was the other thing I liked. It wasn't just like your face going,
yeah.
It's like, oh, this is actually like he acted in this movie.
Well, and it's one of those things too where it's like we want everybody to be entertained by the film. We want people to have a good time, but it's also
there's a story.
It's a movie about the actual historic decimation of an indigenous people. So you have to treat it with a certain level of respect and weight that it deserves. And I myself, being a white guy of European heritage, like I understand the weight that's on me telling a story like this.
Totally.
And I want to treat it with like every ounce of respect I possibly can. So on set, that was something we constantly talked about. A lot of the actors in it are First Nations, Aboriginal people from North America. And we talked about the fact that it's like we're telling a story about, your near extinction 200 years ago. So we're not going to play this up as camp. We're not playing this up as when you've got a movie that's essentially, a thriller, it's like you need to walk that line. It can be tricky.
And we showed it in Montreal and Fantasia, and the star T.O. Horn brought a lot of her native family to watch it, and they were very happy with it and very pleased with how it was treated.
When you end up on the inevitably, I feel like all the underutilized talent or underestimated whatever talent lists come out, you're always on those lists. Like I
get lots of tweets about it.
Right, like a lot of people like you.
That's the thing. Like so when someone says you're underrated, I feel like I'm pretty well rated. I don't know, like almost rated properly. Like I don't know.
Like I don't want to bring those expectations up much higher.
Not too high. But I guess when I do see that, it's cool.
Right.
Me. Why wouldn't it be? People recognize it, and it's cool to me.
Are you ready to? I mean, it's a really stupid question because I feel like everybody would ask you. But are you ready to give any more explanation to your tweets?
Well, so today is Thursday, and you know what that means. So what does Thursday mean to you?
Thursdays. Woo!
Well, so that I wish I didn't ask you, but I did. So
that's what Luke Harper.
Well, there you go. You got your answer.
just sitting there. Well, guys,
to me it means something completely different, but to you it means something else.
And it's like a song lyric. It's like I'll let the world decide.
And I don't think that's a stupid question.
Thank you.
You're implying that my Twitter's stupid.
No, I'm implying it's a stupid question on my behalf because who am I to be like, oh, I'm the only one that's going to ask you what is your tweet?
Good explanation.
That's
anytime you tweet about Mohawk, it like throws everybody.
People get pissed.
They freak out.
I'll get
like,
10
wait,
to 12.
Wait, what's going
They'll
on?
say, what day is it?
Right.
When I'm trying to promote the movie.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
I said, listen, you know, I'll get there. Relax.
So, don't worry, we'll do that one later. Let me promote the movie that I'm working on.
Where and how can people see Mohawk?
So, you want to handle it?
It's going to be available on all VOD platforms. We recommend people check it out on iTunes.
Yes.
And it's
iTunes is the key.
iTunes.
Going to be in select cinemas starting March 2nd, which, as of this recording, is tomorrow. But yeah.
Yeah, well, excellent. Well, seek it out.
Yes.
Mohawk is the movie. Get it on iTunes, wherever you are. And I appreciate both of you hanging out.
Awesome, man. Thank you for the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate
Pleasure.
it.
Thanks.